The Red Sox have their new pitching coach. It's Bob McClure, who was actually hired by the organization in November for some minor league duties. So essentially it's a promotion for Bob McClure. And this is obviously going to be a difficult task, and you're the perfect guy to ask. Coming into a situation where there's veteran pitchers, veteran ace pitchers like Josh Beckett and even John Lester, then there's some young pitchers as well. How does Bob McClure get his message to this rotation that, like we said, is a good mix of old and young guys?
Well, I think the biggest factor of all, when you come in as a pitching coach in a new organization, and you obviously have the mix right here of veteran pitchers who have had a lot of success over the years. I mean, Josh Beckett is an ace without question about it. He's had ace years without question, and was having a great year this year until really September. But the biggest factor of all, as a pitching coach, we're teachers. And if you're going to be a great teacher, you have to be a great student. And as a great student, you have to develop a relationship, a specific individual relationship with every one of your pitchers. And you have to sit down with Josh Beckett, Lester, Burkett, or Buchholz, so on down the line, every one of the guys that have been there, and talk to Josh about, like, okay, number one, are you committed to being best? Because you have been best without question. Some of the things that he needs to ask them, what were some of the issues that you had last year? What were some of the obstacles? What can we do? Because as a pitching coach, I've always came in and made it very clear. Number one, are you committed to excellence? That's the first thing we need to know, because we're committed to offering you excellence, a program and a system that is going to work for you. Number two, you have to come to a place where you realize that, and I've said this to all the pitchers, I'm not your boss. In fact, you're my boss. I work for you. I work for you to offer you the best advice, the best to optimize your performance and to reduce your risk of injury. And it's exciting. I mean, I remember when I came over at the Mets, you had Tommy Glavine, you had Johnny Franco, you had Al Leiter, you had Mike Piazza catching. You had some Hall of Fame guys, and it's incredibly exciting. I'm so happy for Bob. I mean, this is a great opportunity for him, and I think he's going to do a great job there.
Joe, in fairness to the past Red Sox regime, they really struggled in September, as we saw in that graphic, and they obviously struggled right out of the gates. Other than that, the Red Sox pitching was pretty good last year. They really were a fantastic team. So how much work does McClure actually have to do? How dirty does his hands have to get for the Red Sox to make the playoffs this year?
Let's not forget, this team won 2 out of every 3 games 4 months in the middle of the season. We're not talking about a rebuilding project here. I look at the Red Sox. You can expect Beckett and Lester, independent of the off-field stuff late last year, they're going to step up and be a 1 and a 2. You've got 400 solid innings at the top of that rotation. Yes. I look at the rest of that rotation. I think Bob McClure's big task, obviously Lackey's out for the year. We don't know we're going to get a Buchholz. That's a health question. Can Bob McClure squeeze 28, 29 good starts out of Daisuke Matsuzaka in the last year of that contract? If you look at what's left on the market, obviously the Red Sox want to move Bard to the rotation. We don't know how that will work. But I think if McClure can get Matsuzaka flying in formation, I believe is the term. if Matsuzaka pitches well next year, that's going to be, I think, one of the difference makers in terms of who ends up winning this division. So I think if I'm looking at McClure, what's your big job? Get Daisuke to the mound 30 times, get him 200 innings.